What's up, everyone? Champ Bets back again for another UFC predictions video. This time, we're going over Mackenzie Dern versus Amanda Ribas 2, the rematch. Super excited for this fight. Super excited for this card. Very, very underrated. There's a lot of really good fights on this. Is a really good fight night. A lot of good fights throughout, and I can't wait to speak about each one of them. I just did a 2024 awards video, and in that I recap like my year betting as well as the previous card, Tampa. So if you want all that stuff where I usually talk about at the beginning of the videos, that's where it is. But let's just get right into it. We don't have to wait for anything this time around, so let's go. Joe Selecki versus Nurilo Aliev. I think Aliev wins this fight. I'm going decision. Although, to be honest, a KO is very possible, I think. But I'm going to go decision. I don't think he's, like, the most dangerous. And I think Joe Selecki, even when he's getting, like landed on, I think he's going to do his best to survive. Selecki is sub or bust. And if he doesn't get a sub, he's going to lose this fight. And I think that's what's going to happen. I think Aliev's just has good enough wrestling in order to negate what Joe Selecki is going to be doing. So I think this is a tougher matchup than Ashmuz, which is Aliev's original matchup. And I had like a good amount of money on Aliev in that spot, but pulled out. It is what it is. So I think there's more of a chance of like him getting caught by a Joe Selecki sub than anything Ashmuz is going to do on the feet. But I think he'll be fine. I think that Tajik Eagle is going to get a win again. So, yeah. Victoria Dudikova versus Fatima Klein. Here we go. This is my favorite bet of the card. I'm going with Fatima Klein round 3 sub. I'll explain to you exactly why Fatima Klein deserves to be this much of a favorite. And by the way, I got this line super duper early. It's kind of disgusting now, but she's going to win. She's going to win, and maybe a spread bet, but like even that's like nasty. It's hard to make an argument now at the odds now, but she's going to win this fight. Maybe more significant strikes, more takedowns if those odds are good. I think Fatima dominates this fight. I wouldn't go as crazy about like a minus 5.5 spread or something like that, because I see Bovada has that now, which is so, I've never seen that before. So that's something completely new that they're doing. I wouldn't want to touch that because I'd be worried one stupid judge gives Dudikova round 1 or something like that. But I mean, otherwise, I think this should be Fatima Klein all day. But why Fatima Klein? One, Fatima Klein, her circumstances in her last fight were insane. I was against her last fight. I was like, this is kind of crazy, this fight with her against Jasmine. I believe in Fatima Klein in that fight. I was like, I didn't pick her, but it's like, I like Fatima Klein a lot. I think she's special. I get why the odds favored her at one point, but it's a tough ask because Jasmine Jasudavicius is super, super massive for that weight class. It's the Denver card, elevation on short notice, and the biggest step up of her career. It's just too much to ask for someone like Fatima, who is really, really good. And she showed up. And she looked pretty good. Considering all those circumstances, that's impressive as hell. And if you look at her tape, I mean, it's really hard to find anything really wrong with her. I guess the thing that I wasn't the craziest about with her was her ground and pound. It's kind of Eileen Perez-esque, but like Donkey Kong style. But it's better than the one Eileen Perez showed when she was fighting Pudilova. But besides the point, like that's not so great. But her jiu-jitsu is phenomenal. Her positional jiu-jitsu and wrestling, it's great. She's gonna be a monster in this division at 115. She's big for the weight class because she's fought at flyweight and done well there. I know she doesn't have like the best names on her resume, but I think what she did against Jasmine shows, okay, this girl's the real deal with those circumstances against her. While Victoria Dudikova, on the other hand, Estela Nunes shot a horrible takedown and ended up getting an injury off of it. Okay, Jin Frey got taken, like she was on top of her. insane to me. That was insane that could happen. Jinh Yu Frey does not have a ground game like that. Dudikova should have been dominated that. And then Sam Hughes. I was on Sam Hughes in that fight. I was like, I like the Sam page here, but I was like, this is a live bet spot. It was a great live bet spot. Victoria Dudikova can be drowned. And you know who can do the drowning? Someone with great cardio like Fatima Klein. She absolutely can drown Victoria Dudikova, and I think she finishes this fight. I think it's going to be too much for Dudikova. I think now that her gave up a win, it's going to be easier for her to give up. I think maybe that's a little far-fetched, to be fair. Maybe scratch that, but both these girls are super young. Both girls are getting better and better, and I think Fatima Klein is she's got the skills to pay the bills. She's already top 15 level. Victoria Dudikova, I'm not so crazy about. I think on the feet she's all right. I don't think Dudikova is horrible. It's levels. It's just levels. This is Fatima Klein. She still has that mindset that she's undefeated at this weight class at 115, which is what she said in interviews. And I love that here. I think she pieces up Dudikova on the feet. I think she pieces her up on the ground. I don't know where the hell she loses this fight. It's like the only chance Victoria Dudikova has is, I have a hard time rationalizing it. It's round one. She has a chance of winning round one. She has a chance of winning round one. But I don't see how she wins rounds 2 or 3 because of the cardio. Because that cardio is going to be pushed by Fatima Klein. It's a Fatima Klein all day. Forgetting anything. In terms of prop bets, I'll talk about that. I like Fatima Klein in the distance. I think that's pretty good, especially at the number, which is Bovada. It is plus 225. I think that's good. If you want to go submission only, which I think is pretty likely, although it's possible she like ground and pounds Dudikova, probably more likely submission, plus 325. Pretty all right. I don't have odds on Fatima Klein, more significant strikes or more takedowns. Those are great bets. I think you're pretty safe with them, because especially on the ground, if she gets going pretty quickly, Dudikova's not going to be able to land no strikes, and Fatima Klein's going to be landing. Obviously more takedowns are going to be easier. I think fight winner inside the distance only, and like if it avoids the decision, I don't see where Dudikova finishes Fatima Klein. I don't see it. So yeah, I think that's a great prop bet as well. So, and I bet that. That's one of my biggest bets. That's my biggest bet this week, actually. Yeah, Fatima Klein's my biggest bet this week. I got her at better odds, but because I was on it, because it's like, there's no way I'm missing out on the Fatima Klein get back after her Jasmine fight. This girl's a real deal. Training with girls like Erin Blanchfield, I don't know what else you can ask for a girl like that. I think she's gonna drown Dudikova in either round 2 or round 3. I think round 3. Next, we have the card: Magomed Gadzhiesulov versus Bruno Lopez. Magomed Gadzhiesulov. The problem is I don't know if I want decision or KO. I'm gonna go KO. The reason why I go KO is because Bruno Lopez gets hurt every fight, and I think if you get hurt, if Gadzhiesulov hurts you, I think it's gonna finish you. Honestly, but I will say this: Gadzhiesulov provides any problems. He's so slow, while Magomed pretty fast for his own right, dances around kind of thing. He has a wrestling advantage. I think he can get Bruno Lopez wrestled. I'm worried about the cardio ish. I'm worried about the leg kicks from Bruno Lopez, but honestly, again, with the speed and with Gadzhiisulov's reach and how he moves, and I think it's going to be too much for Bruno Lopez, and that's why I'm leaning towards the finish. But I'm not confident no finish in this fight. But I do think Gadzhiesulov does a good job and cruises to victory here. So give me Gadzhiesulov to win. Ernesto Carrasqueta versus Nicole Carrari. This is crazy to me. Ernesto's going to cook her. And you know what? I'm going to say it. This is another bold one. I think Carrasqueta gets her out of there. Round 2, round 3. Why do I say that? I mean, first off, Nicole Carrari I heard someone say, I think it was Jacob from We Want Picks. We Want Picks. Shout out to him. I met him at the Tampa card. Very nice guy. He mentioned Nicole Kalari is like the modern day like Hannah Goldie or something like that, and it's like it clicked in my head. He's absolutely right. The muscles for days, but the striking is, oh my god, it's not good. It's not good, and I get it. Like, oh, she has submission abilities, may be able to submit Karasketa. I think Naomi Barbosa is a better Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu practitioner, if I'm honest. I think she's, excuse me, I think Dione Barbosa is also better at takedowns than Nicole Kalari is. Both Dione Barbosa and Nicole Kalari have cardio problems. I think with how not so good Kalari is on the feet, I think Ernesta can light her up on the feet. I can very much see standing TKO possibly happening in like rounds 2 or round 3, probably round 3. And again, Ernesta, we're talking about cardio with Kalari. Ernesta Karasketa's cardio got the swimmer background. Man, she's got cardio for days. I'm not worried about that at all. I think she's going to, and on the feet, it's not even close. It's not even close. Like, Ernesta is just so much better. And the length is such a big problem for Kalari here. The height and reach of Karasketa just makes this such a tough ask for Kalari in my eyes. I don't really know how Kalari is going to do a good job of getting in there. Most significant strikes, minus 400 Ernesta, Karasketa. I think that's pretty safe, if I'm honest. I think Karasketa is going to do what she wants on the feet with Kalari. So yeah, I like Karasketa, and I think she gets a finish even. That's a little... I get it. I'm going a little... I'm jumping out there, but I think that's all right at the odds. I wouldn't necessarily tell you, like, oh, bet all your money on that. Karasketa, KO, rounds 2 or 3. I think those most likely, plus 600. It's not a bad sprinkle. I don't think that's a bad sprinkle. But yeah, give me Karasketa. I think she does what she wants. Preston Parsons versus Jacoby Smith. This is a good one. I'm definitely going Jacoby Smith, but it's like, do I want to go KO or decision? I'm going to go decision. I think Preston Parsons will do what he needs to survive. He's shown himself to be pretty durable, for the most part. I don't think... I mean, Smith is the kind of guy that gets this guy out of here. I won't lie. But I'm just feeling on short notice, Preston Parsons maybe going to do what he not do what he wants, but try to specifically survive the onslaught early from Jacoby Smith, and then maybe push a pace and try to get him out of there later. Like, maybe that's the plan he has in mind, and as a result, he's going to be trying to survive for all his life and not necessarily go all out and let himself be able to get finished. So that's why I'm like leaning towards decision on that. I'm not crazy about like betting on decision prop on that. Although I'll tell you what, Preston Parsons plus 3.5 or plus 5.5 actually, which is kind of ridiculous. I think that's an interesting look. An interesting look to... I would sprinkle, because I will say I wouldn't be shocked at all if Jacoby Smith just sleeps him. Would not be shocked at all. But he might be able to get like a round 3 out. He might be able to get a round 3 out. Bovada's plus 5.5, so I think he just needs one judge to give him any of the rounds. And don't get me wrong, those early rounds are going to be tough, but it'd be hoping that Jacoby Smith is not the same in round 3. Again, Preston Parsons, longtime veteran, but I think that this guy Jacoby Smith is the real deal. He is really good. Yeah, I like Jacoby Smith to go ahead and get the win. Thiago Moises versus Trey Ogden. I like Moises. I think he wins a decision. Moises is super underwhelming, to be honest, but this is one of those where it's like, okay, this is one of those that Thiago Moises wins. Like, there's the level of opponent he loses to: Islam Makhachev, I guess Ludovic Klein, Joel Alvarez, Benoit Saint Denis, some pretty good fighters. Then you have the guys he's beating, like Mel Costa, which, no, to be fair to him, Mitch Ramirez. I totally forgot about this fight. Giagos. I think Ogden's in that category as well. King Green as well, even though I didn't think he won that fight. I think Ogden's really good at like getting himself them decisions. Even though, like that last fight, I thought Lake won. I thought like you can argue Lake won. It was close. Don't get me wrong, but I don't know. I think this fight all depends on the wrestling. I lean Thiago Moises to have maybe the better wrestling. I'm worried about going against Trey Ogden because he has good game plans. He's on the roids. Everyone on Team Marathon is. But I don't think he's going to keep getting away with wins and stuff like that. I think Moises is going to end up doing enough to win. But it might be close. It might be close. Wouldn't shock me if it was. But I think the difference between Moises and some of these past opponents that Ogden's faced, I think he's got better wrestling than these past opponents with Blake and Kurhalabah. And he's got very good jiu-jitsu, Thiago Moises. Maybe not like elite, but pretty damn good jiu-jitsu. He's not no bum on the ground. I do like the youth advantage. I do like he's back at American Top Team after like the short stint at the Fighting Nerds. I think American Top Team suits Thiago Moises better. I think he's going to end up winning this one and getting back in the one column after a pretty dreadful performance against Ludwig Klein. Am I going to bet it? I'm thinking. I'm not sure. I might be on it, but I'm not crazy about it. I'm very afraid. But since the number has come down, I think I very well might be on it. So we'll say probably yes, but in terms of how much, probably not a crazy amount. 1 unit probably at max or something like that. Like to make 1 unit, I mean. So yeah. Marco Tulio versus Ihor Potieria. Oh my god, please Ihor win. I don't care if he missed weight. Please win. Please let this be the case. Let this be the case. But if I'm being honest, I think Tulio round 3 KO. Ihor missing weight. I was very tempted to go with Ihor here, but I didn't like seeing him miss weight. And maybe him missing weight's like, I'm going to try and wrestle you more or something like that. Ihor's getting better every fight. I have to mention that. But I think Marco Tulio out of shoot the box. I think he's going to be able to, if he fights smart, I think he probably wins this at a pretty high clip, if I'm honest. I think Ihor probably starts to slow down, and towards the middle of round 2, maybe beginning of round 3, and Tulio tries to get him out of there. Am I betting this? Hell no, because I do think Ihor is absolutely live to win this, because the speed advantage is definitely on Ihor Potieria's side, and I think he actually can knock Tulio out. I do think that's very possible, and I would not be shocked with it. I am not fading Ihor Potieria here, but if I'm being realistic, I think Marco Tulio probably wins. Sadly, I want Ihor to win so bad. I'm rooting for Ihor, but I'm going with Tulio. Josie Johnson versus Felipe Bunez. The other weight misser on the card, Josie Johnson. Yeah, I'm not crazy about him missing weight, and honestly, that I was very in between on this matchup before. Now I'm like, okay, I think I'm going Bunez. I was like super not sure, but Bunez is good. He's not terrible. He looked terrible against Joshua Van, but Joshua Van's really good. His gas tank is not as bad as this fight made it seem like. He can go 3 rounds, and Josie Johnson's takedown defense, it's not great. It's not been great. I get why he's like the favorite. He's super long and lanky, and maybe he can keep it on the feet as a result. But I think Bunez is going to be able to get in on him, get a takedowns, and control on top, and win with the grappling. I think he can find this up as well. I think I did hear Pegasus Picks made a good mention, plus 3.5 Felipe Bunez. I think that's probably a really good look, because I think he can at least get round 1. And we're just banking on him not dying to Josie Johnson later on. That could be a little risky-ish, but I think that's a good play, and I think I like that a lot, especially at the odds. It's not like completely disgusting. Yeah, I'll take Felipe Bunez. Pinelli Soriano versus Uros Medic. I think Uros Medic cooks Pinelli Soriano early. If you look at their face-off, Uros looked bigger. The 155 guy coming up to 170 is bigger than the 185 guy going down to 170. Pretty ridiculous. Eros is huge. I think he has a huge speed advantage. I think he has a huge striking advantage. I don't think his takedown defense is as bad as the Oral Bice fight made it seem. And I will mention this. He literally was not training takedown defense for that fight because before that fight was scheduled, which was on short notice, he was fighting Johnny Parsons, who was a pure Muay Thai guy. And he was like, and he said afterwards, like, this was really dumb. I'm not going to do that ever again. Smart, don't do that ever again. So I think his P's and Q's are going to be better. He has urgency to get up if he does get taken down. I'm not even sure if Soriano will wrestle. He'd probably be smart to wrestle. I think Rose is going to do a really good job finding the shots and landing back Soriano. And man, Medic, the way he strikes is a thing of beauty. It's a thing of beauty to watch. I'm super, super high on Medic. I think he wins this fight. Austin Bashi versus Christian Rodriguez. This is a sick fight. I feel like I'm on an island here. I'm going C-Rod. I think he wins a decision. A few reasons why I'm with C-Rod. First off, I'm not crazy about Austin Bashi at 145. To be fair as well, I'm not crazy about C-Rod at 145 either, but he's had more time to be at that weight class and grow into it. Level of competition. This is such a huge step up for Bashi. Like, I get it why people are like, oh, Bashi's going to win this fight because they're going off the Bulgarian fight. And it's like, oh, Bashi has better cardio than Bulgarian. Absolutely true. And he's going to be able to do what Bulgarian did, but have 3 rounds of cardio. I'm not so sure. The reason why I say that is because I think we're kind of underestimating Bulgarian's ability. Like, I think his control is better than Bashi's. I think I think the takedowns are better as well. Not to say Bashi's bad at takedowns, not at all. But like, even Bulgarian had such a hard time holding down C-Rod. I think that does say a lot. I think because of that, I think with the big step up in competition, where Bashi hasn't really faced opposition that has challenged him. I don't know. I think it's a little bit of a question mark, and I think Christian Rodriguez can absolutely do it. I think on the feet, Bashi's very hittable. I'm not crazy about the defense of Bashi. I like Christian Rodriguez striking. Not that Bashi, again, not a bad striker. He's still working on developing that game. Muay Thai. Work on that Muay Thai. But I think C-Rod does it again. I think he takes another prospect 0. Am I looking to bet it? If I am, I'd put very, very little. I'm not. I understand the reasons why people are like Bashi a lot here. So I'm not overly crazy about going with C-Rod as a bet. Although if I check, what is plus 3.5? Minus 145. That's a little yikesy. I do that. That's a small bet too. I've been burned by plus 3.5 is pretty bad in the past, and I don't want to make that a trend. Especially because one judge can maybe give Bashi 30-27, then 29-28 Chris Rodriguez for the other 2. And then you lose your bet. Not too interested in that. I expect this fight to become more wider as we get closer to the fight time. So if you're going to be on Christian Rodriguez, probably wait last second. I think that's the best way to go. But yeah, I like Christian Rodriguez still. He got subbed by Erosa, and I think he got affected pretty badly by the elevation. It did look like that a lot in that fight, and I was thinking that when watching. I don't think that's going to be in play here. Got the blonde hair, aura. Just kidding. That's a dumb reason. But I think the measurables are also on C-Rod's side too, which helps. I think C-Rod pulls through here. Chris Curtis versus Roman Kopylov. Give me Roman Kopylov to win the decision. I think it could get dicey round 3-ish, but I want to say this. I think Kopylov's cardio is not as bad as people make it out to be, especially when he's fighting his type of fight. I think he can keep the distance with Chris Curtis and do a good job doing a similar-ish thing Hermanson did, where it's like, make Curtis chase you, but he doesn't really know how to cut you off well. I just think Kopylov's an amazing striker. I think he's so good, and I think He kind of has Chris Curtis out outdone. And I forgot to, yeah, I don't think his cardio is as bad as his last fight showed against Cesar Almeida because he went for takedowns. If he's going to go for takedowns to Chris Curtis, he'd be stupid to, and he's definitely not going to do it because Cesar Almeida, in comparison, easier to take down than Chris Curtis. Shocker. He's not going to be trying to do no takedowns on Chris Curtis. It's going to be a stand-up fight. Rest assured. I think he banks rounds 1 and 2. Round 3 could be a little sketchy, but I think he makes it out of round 3 and wins. So yeah, give me Kopylov to win decision. Abdul Razak Al Hassan versus Cesar Almeida. Speaking of Cesar Almeida, give me Al Hassan to win by first round KO. I'm not crazy about this Cesar Almeida guy. I don't see the hype. I don't see it. I remember reading some notes I wrote up about Cesar Almeida's last fight against Ihor Peteria, and I was like, fade this guy in the future. He looked horrible in that fight, and maybe you can say elevation, sure. Having to get separated over and over and over again by a referee in what looked like the most rigged fight genuinely ever. That's a bad look. That's a bad look that you kept getting back into that position over and over, and you couldn't. And you got so many gifts in your favor. You didn't get a point taken. You kept getting separated. So many gifts in his favor, and you still couldn't really hurt Ihor like that bad. Give me Al Hassan. I beg of him to wrestle. I like him as a dog here. Wrestle in the open. You can absolutely take Cesar Almeida down in the open. Please, Hassan, I beg of you, please. I think he can absolutely do it. And even then, I think he can also crack Cesar Almeida. I don't think his striking is, obviously it's very good. Don't get me wrong, it's very good. But Al Hassan can still crack. It's not necessarily about ability. If you can still land, he has pretty alright distance management, to be honest. Abdul Razak Al Hassan. If he lands one, he could put this guy out. I think he can finish this. I think he gets a takedown in the middle and is able to finish Almeida with ground and pound, is what I'm thinking. And that's what I got here. So, yeah. But I would not be shocked if Al Hassan wins a decision, for instance. I would not be shocked at all. So, I think those are all in play. Give me Abdul Razak Al Hassan to win. I think he wins this fight. I got him bet. I didn't bet a crazy amount on him because I will tell you why. Because Al Hassan's a little unreliable. Shouldn't be that shocking, but he's a little unreliable. But if there's one time where he might just wrestle, surely it would be against the glory kickboxer who's known for really good kickboxing and has been taken down by not as good wrestlers as Abdul Razak Al Hassan. Al Hassan really should wrestle here, and he'd be foolish not to. Santiago Ponzinibbio versus Carlston Harris. I think Carlston Harris. I think Ponzi is washed. I think he's washed, man. It's been tragic to see some of his last fights, and honestly, his Alex Morono fight, he was losing. To be fair, I thought he won this Jeff Neal fight. This Morono fight, he was losing. Found the KO at the end. Good, and that's good. But actually, I want to go submission. I'll think about it. But with Carlston Harris, his striking is atrocious. Don't get me wrong, because he's slapping or whatever, and he likes to be on the feet too much, which is why I'm I don't like this that much. I'm not betting him, but But the difference is, this is Ponzinibbio 2025. It's not the same Ponzi as it was in the past, and I'm convinced he's washed. I get it. Carlston is not no young dude himself, but I think he's just not necessarily more in the game, but it's his body is more in the game type of thing. His body's not failing him as much as Ponzi's has been. Oh man, Ponzinibbio's last fight. Ugh, I didn't like that. Salikov's been doing good, but I don't know. I don't really. How Ponzi fought made me so frustrated. I don't know why you're fighting the way you're fighting. I think Harris can latch up a submission on the ground. I think he can win a decision. I think a fight ends by sub is an alright prop to sprinkle on. I think that's alright because Carlson Harris can sub Chuck Ponzinibbio. This is about as dicey as a fight as it gets. I get the odds being super close, but I'll take the underdog here. I like Harris to win. Mackenzie Dern versus Amanda Ribas 2, the rematch. I like Ribas here. I think she wins a decision. Loki maybe KO. Probably decision. She's just a better minute winner. She is so much of a better minute winner than Mackenzie Dern is. The only way Dern's gonna win rounds is if she bonks Ribas or has a bunch of control. The bunch of control stuff part is a little tough because Amanda Ribas has grappled with Mackenzie Dern. She's a very good grappler herself. And I think, yeah, very good grappler herself. And since she's felt it before, is she going to be fearing it? I don't think so. And she knows her grappling is on that level. She's grappled with another girl, Genji Doba. She did a great job with that as well. I think she'll be fine in the grappling, and maybe she'll be able to find her way back up. No problem. Amanda Ribas is huge, and like I gotta see this face off again. Ribas versus Stern 2 face off, because it looked like Ribas was so much bigger. It's a little weird because this is saying she's 5'3" and Dern is 5'4". And I need like some full shot. There's any way I can find it. I don't know if she's like standing on her tippy toes or anything like that. I'm very curious. Okay, this should be okay. She's bigger. She's not on her tippy toes. She's literally bigger than Dern. Maybe she has shoes on. I don't know. You're giving Ribas a size advantage, which she absolutely uses to her favor. In the first fight, she absolutely dominated her, and it was 30-27. I think Ribas wins again, and there's a good play on this. I think plus 5.5 Amanda Ribas. You know what? I think I might just take it. I don't think she loses 2 rounds here. I think she's gonna win at least 4 rounds, if not 5. I think she's so much better. And if we break down the recent competition, actually, let me save this real quick. Let me 2 picks on this one. If we look at the recent competition, let me dissect them. Let's go with their last few. Lupita Godinez, good win. Although I'm not gonna lie, I thought Lupi won. Lupi won that fight, if I'm honest. Manny Lemos lost. She did pretty good there to like keep her good account of herself, but I mean just out physical. Jessica Andrade absolutely smoked so bad. So bad by Jessica Andrade. Had nothing for her. Angela Hill. I mean, I don't want to be mean to Hill. I like Hill a lot. But Hill didn't have any sort of, how do you say this? Like, resistance. She gave no resistance to Dern. I mean, I thought Dern was like a lot better than I thought she was because of that fight. Not that I picked her against Andrade. I picked Andrade to win that fight, but I was like, dang, she hurt Angela Hill. That's crazy. No one cracks her a chin, and no one really has since. So it's pretty ridiculous. Don't get me wrong, Dern's live for a bonk. She absolutely is, but because Ribas' chin's not the best. But I don't know. And you can argue, I think you can argue she's in her last 7. Her last 7, she should not have won. Like, she should not have won any time except for the time against Angela Hill. You can say this is a robbery. You can say this is a robbery. And then we have not as good wins. Genji Doba, great win. Don't get me wrong. It was mostly on the feet. Nina Nunes, she's kind of out of the door. So maybe I'm being unfair saying last 7. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Her last 9. I'm not taking anything about Randall Marcos that serious. Her last 9, 3 of those are wins, like in my eyes. I don't view some of these performances as crazy as some other people. And we look at Ribas on the other hand. Rose Namajunas, some people thought she won that fight. I don't. But she gave a good account for herself. Luana Pinheiro, not good. Luana Pinheiro is not good. Don't get me wrong. I get that. Macy Barber is really good. Ribas did all right, but Macy Barber is it's a beast. Viviane Araújo, I think that's a very underrated win. I think that's a really good win. Vivi's not no joke. Chookagian, Seminara, split decision, close fight, really good fight. And that's like a much bigger girl. Verna Jandiroba, she went into the grappling with her. Good fight. Won that fight. Marina Rodriguez knocked her out bad. And that's Marina Rodriguez. She's dangerous on the feet. Not like Dern won against Marina Rodriguez anyways either. It's just, I think the level of competition, like, I like it more for Ribas to compete how she did against Rose Namajunas. I think says a lot more than most of what Dern has done as a recent. So, yeah, give me Amanda Ribas to win. So now, go through the picks again, and I'm going to talk about what do I like, more takedowns or more significant strikes for these fights, if I like anything betting-wise. Aliev, more takedowns, easy. Probably more significant strikes. Aliev, very, very safe to be with that. Team Clan, more takedowns, more significant strikes. Don't have to say much more about that. Ganzi Sulov, I think more significant strikes is probably pretty safe, but it could be dicey if he gasses. That's the scary part. So I gotta say that up front. More takedowns is probably pretty safe with Ganzi Sulov. Ernesto Carrasqueta, Kalari, more significant strikes. Ernesto, I think, is pretty safe. Probably Kalari more takedowns, but I don't think she's gonna get a takedown. I wouldn't bet it. But if anyone probably goes for a takedown, it's probably Nicole. I mean, if Ernesto goes for a takedown, I mean, Kalari's not gonna complain. So if she comes in with that mindset, I wouldn't like that at all. She'd be foolish to do so, but if she does and you're convinced Nicole is not going to get a takedown, might be okay. Play. Preston Parsons, Jacoby Smith. More takedowns, Jacoby Smith. And more significant strikes could be dicey if Preston Parsons is able to get off round 3, but probably won't get off that much round 3. So probably more significant strikes, Jacoby Smith as well. This one. I don't know. It can be either way. It's going to be close with this takedowns and significant strikes because Trey Ogden can wrestle, so can Moises. Trey Ogden has a good jab. He likes to jab a lot. Maybe he wins out significant strikes like that. I'm not sure. Tulio Ihor Pateria. I'm actually curious about this line. What is the more significant strikes and more takedowns for this one? More takedowns, Tulio. Okay. I'm not sure because Ihor's been making more of an emphasis on takedowns in his fights as of recent, so maybe that's an alright look, but I probably just pass. I think I just pass. I think you can maybe even chance it with Ihor Pateria, more significant strikes, and then just hope he gets KO'd or something like that, or he gets a KO before Tulio takes his number, takes over from there. Felipe Bunez versus Jose Johnson. Not Jose. Oh my God, I've been saying his name wrong all the time. It's Jose Johnson. He's not Jose Aldo. Jose Johnson. I'm so used to being an MMA. Listen to Jose Aldo. Jose Johnson. I like Bunez more takedowns. I think that's pretty safe. I don't think Jose Johnson's going to be going for takedowns. Significant strikes, probably Jose Johnson, to be honest. I think, yes. But I think more takedowns is going to be the better thing. But it's probably going to be juice to help. Soriano, Boris Medic. Anyone going for a takedown, it's going to be Soriano. More significant strikes, Medic. I love that. I think he's going to absolutely land so much on Soriano. Not the best head movement. Gets hit a lot. I think Medic. I'm not crazy about either. Kopylov, Chris Curtis. I think I lean 6 strikes Kopylov, but I think that could be pretty dicey. More takedowns. Nah, they're not shooting takedowns. Don't do it. Don't bet that for either guy. Al Hassan, Cesar Almeida. I'm actually curious about this line. Al Hassan, more takedowns is probably safe. If Cesar Almeida goes for a takedown, what the hell is he doing? Al Hassan, more takedowns, minus 1200. You'll be fine. Significant strikes. Depends where the fight is. It could be Caesar still. It could be Al Hassan if he gets wrestling going and starts pounding Caesar bad onto the ground, but kind of want to pass that one personally. But I get people going on either side for that one. Ponzi, Carlton Harris. Look, I'm actually curious about the odds for this one as well. For the 6 strikes, more takedowns. Ugh. More takedowns, Carlton Harris. I think that makes sense. But Ponzi does go for his own takedown sometimes, so that might not be a bad underdog spot. I think significant strikes is not a bad underdog spot for Carlton Harris either, to be honest. So I think either or of those are fine to look at. It's a tough one. I think it's close enough to where you can go with the dog if you're going to play it. I wouldn't probably bet either of those. Then Mackenzie Dern versus Amanda Ribas. Significant strikes, more takedowns. I am curious about the more takedowns one. There's no lines. I like Amanda Ribas more significant strikes a lot. I think she's going to get that at the very least, unless she gets bonked like right away. I think more takedowns Ribas might be like an underdog bet. I think that's an alright bet to like put a little bit on, because in her last fight with Dern, she used a lot of throws and got Dern to the ground, not when Dern tried to initiate. So I think that's a good way to play it as well. So yeah, those are my picks for UFC Fight Night, Dern versus Ribas. Super excited for this card. And of course, next week we got the great pay-per-view card. Umar Nurmagomedov versus Murad Dvalishvili, and of course that main event, Arman Tsarukyan versus Islam Makhachev. We are living good. We are living good as MMA fans. I'm going to be back to my original setup next week for that card, UFC 311. And yeah, super excited. Have some bets I like in that card already. We're already getting this year started. Great. Rooting for you, Fatima Klein. I'll probably buy a shirt if she ends up winning. She's going to end up winning too. She's going to end up winning. Yeah. Thanks so much for watching. Enjoy. Have a great one.